Hello everyone, this is me, Dusty Circuit here, and to bring you another Kerbal Space Program video. And as we just got finished in our last, my last episodes, I just finished my revisit mission to the Quack Pack system. I figured it's probably about time we go back to the Kcalbeloh system. Okay, so far, we think we've been to both the surface of Sarah and Dupak, or I'm not quite sure how you say the name of that moon, and Saluko and Tot so far. So at least in the Sunwork system, we just have the Simetra Simetra system and Noi left to actually go to before we actually venture out to guessing we're gonna do the Allrack system and then the Milk system from there. But for the Sunwork system, we just have the Simetra system, Noi, and Seta left to visit. But this mission is going to be going to the Simetra system, but if we have enough remaining fuel, we might pay a visit to Noi. So the Simetra system is basically these two, like, I guess they're ice giants, or like cold gas giants, that basically are, like, kind of go, like, are orbiting around each other, like in a binary system. Or so you can see as we speed up, as we time warp, it shows you actually how they orbit. And there's three moons in the system. We were going to be going to two of them in this episode, but the third one I think we might revisit in another episode because it's as this one goes on a retrograde orbit, like meaning it goes opposite to the opposite direction that the other two are orbiting, which would mean that it would require a bit more delta V to get to that one. So I think we'll visit Noira on a separate mission, but this mission will be going to Noireg. And this one is, I kind of think of it like just kind of like a bigger version of Tecto, like it's got like it's about half. It's about half Kerbin gravity and about 4 times Kerbin's atmosphere at sea level, which kind of makes it kind of like a bigger analog to Tecto. And then also Norik, which is kind of like an icy moon, which has about 0.1 0.44 carbon gravity, and a really thin atmosphere. Like, about, I believe it's about 3 times thinner than Duna's atmosphere, which already is pretty thin, so... Like, well, just as a comparison, Thatmo, which we've been to, like, earlier in my series, its atmosphere is actually a bit thinner than Noric, but yeah. Okay, so... Actually, the rocket that we're gonna be using for this mission, I initially wanted it to be kind of more simple, but then, I may have gotten a little ambitious with it. So, so I just recently installed more of the Sterling, Systems, suite of mods. When I've actually decided to use one of the engines, or one of the nuclear engines. I can see if I can find it in the menu. It's this one. Basically, it's kind of like a closed cycle, what's called a light bulb engine, which is kind of similar to another where's that other one? Which is actually kind of similar to this engine here that I've been using, which I've used throughout my series, just because it offers for its stats are like insane. Like for like it's like basically it's got a 1500 specific impulse in vacuum, and about a 450 kilonewtons of thrust in vacuum, and also a pretty high gimbal range. So I've kind of leaned into using it like for a lot of my, not only a lot of interplanetary ships that I built, but even for landers, because it's like it allows me to have like basically the like it kind of gives you high specific impulse and high thrust kind of in one engine, but it's maybe a little, it might be a little overpowered compared to a lot of the other engine mods, like a lot of the other mods out there. And kind of just more for like the sake of making my series a bit more interesting, I've thought like maybe about kind of changing up the way I make my spaceships. So I think in this episode I'm gonna use this engine. And then another episode I'll actually use this one, which has actually has a higher specific, this has a higher specific impulse than that one. But I kind of would like to use this one to kind of see what I kind of show off this one, then I'll use this one. Maybe probably in another mission. And so the thing about this engine, kind of same as that other one, these actually use liquid hydrogen fuel, and also enriched uranium, which is actually like inside of the engine itself, which gets used up. But interestingly, it actually gets converted into depleted fuel as opposed to this one, which I think I may have used in a previous video. Like this one uses enriched uranium, but it just kind of gets, I guess it just gets shot out the back of the nozzle, where this guy actually keeps it like the spent fuel inside of it, which means maybe, I haven't tried this, but it might be possible to have a refinery on board that actually reprocesses the depleted fuel and then puts it back into the engine for more use. But I haven't tried that, and I'm fairly new to using this mod. I've also decided to use the fuel tanks from the Sterling mod suite as well. More because they offer a bit more thermal, like more heat tolerance than these do. Which, since I kind of tend to do like aerobraking maneuvers in a lot of my missions as of recently, I guess it's probably a good thing to have. And also these boosters I've actually made using the procedural parts mod. So I think I briefly showed it in my other in my other video, but it's like you can change the shapes of these fuel tanks. They can be any shape you want. And you can even give them different you can even give them different textures. You can also use a different you also choose what fuels that are in them. And you can also recolor them. Which is pretty cool. And it's now not only fuel tanks, but solid rocket boosters, like RCS fuel tanks, and ore tanks, and even just like a this isn't a fuel tank. It's just like a structural piece you can also customize. And even procedural heat shields. And even xenon tanks. You know, you can even didn't know this. You can even like customize, like you can even choose. You have different options with these as well. And then also I'm not using that in this one, in this ship, but there's there's even a you can even use procedural fairing, so that's a different mod. That's not part of the procedural parts. Like you just like to use it, you put that piece in and then grab one of the fairing pieces. And it'll literally make a fairing for you that is basically like literally like conforms to like the shape of your spaceship. And you can even like put another half of it on there if you want. Looks like this is being a little difficult, but just like imagine like I can put this on the other side of that and then I get a full fairing. But I've decided, at least for this ship, I guess I didn't really, like I tested it with the fairing and I found it was like more, it just made the ship even more unwieldy to control, so I just decided to leave it off and just launch from like a higher elevation, so at least there's less atmosphere for us to have to worry about. But prior to this, prior to getting the procedural parts, I've been using like these parts, like from near future launch vehicles for all my my heavy duty lift booster needs. But and I think even before that I was mostly using these space Y parts, but I kind of have moved away from using these primarily because of that texture bug, especially mostly with these larger tanks, though these smaller tanks don't have that. So kind of for that reason I've moved away from using those, even though I believe out of any engine available in the game, this has the most powerful lifter engine. So I believe that the one of those emus is, I think, probably has to be 4 mainsails, like 4 times the mainsail in one engine. Just crazy to think about. But I'm very pleased with the procedural parts mod, and I think it's now going to be my new go-to for rocket parts, or at least in general. And on this section, it's just a bunch of RTGs, which are providing my main power source, then a battery, and then a probe core. I'm not sure why, but it's there it is. And this command pod, which I think seats 4 Kerbals. And the actual payload of this mission is this whole part that has these 2 ships. This lander I intend to send to Norik, and then maybe possibly also land on Noi if we make it that far in this mission. And this plane I'm gonna send to Noirik. And as you can see, I may have had a bit more fun with the recoloring mod. And I got a centrifuge here, and I don't know why I put it up there, but I guess I'll move it down to here. And then up top here, this is a kind of looks like an air intake for jet engines, but it actually, instead of an air intake, this thing is, it allows you to harvest atmospheric resources. Well, though mostly from planets like gas giants, which allows you to, like, for engines that use liquid hydrogen fuel or like liquid deuterium or deuterium and tritium in the case of a lot of fusion engines. That actually allows you to, like, that would actually allow you to refuel basically just simply by flying through the atmosphere of a gas giant. And I plan to actually utilize that on this mission to just because this engine along with this payload and this amount of fuel is like gonna be like I want to say by the time I'm actually in the Kcalbeloh system, all these outer tanks would be gone, and maybe the center tank might be about half empty to maybe 2/3 empty. So what I plan to do is just get to Sarnus, like from Kerbin orbit to Sarnus, using this fuel that's in here without staging the radial tanks. And then once I've made it to Sarnus, I'm gonna do a pass through Sarnus's atmosphere with this atmospheric ram scoop enabled, so I can refuel all my my liquid hydrogen tanks. And then from there, I plan to go through the Kcalbeloh, go through the wormhole to the Kcalbeloh system, and then continue on with my mission as usual. I've done some testing. I've done a lot of testing on the ship to actually determine, well, can it actually make it? Is it actually capable of this mission, Delta V wise? And it's I've actually it has just about enough to make it to Sarnus from Kerbin orbit, and then from there I should be able to refuel and then continue on to the Kcalbeloh system. Okay, and due to the kind of unwieldy nature of this rocket, aerodynamic wise at least, I am going to opt to launch from my mountaintop launch site that I've created for my Quack Pack mission, for the purposes of my Quack Pack missions. Oh, I've mostly created this because just to make it make launching larger, very unaerodynamic and very unaerodynamic rockets more easily. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Okay, I actually want to keep my my speed kind of more on the slow side until we're out of the most of the atmosphere, just so the aerodynamics, the unwieldy aerodynamics of this thing aren't gonna cause my rocket to flip over uncontrollably. And also, like, the effect of the wings on that plane aren't gonna mess me up either. Okay, looks like we may have to use a little bit of our interplanetary stage to get the rest of the way into orbit, but that's fine. Just want to wait until we're more like at the top of our orbit to make sure our final kick burn is the most efficient as possible. Okay, with that camera change, we are now in orbit. Okay, I'm gonna save here, and then I think we will burn for Sarnus, or getting to Sarnus. And the other thing about the launching from that launch site is it's because it's a little closer to the North Pole, and we're going to be on a very much polar orbit, but at least for the purposes of launching these very large ships easily, I guess that's maybe worth the compromise to be able to do that. This is the inside of that command pod. I think once our burn's finished, I think I might go and well, in case any of my viewers haven't actually seen the, or are new to my videos and haven't seen the enhanced, like the free IVA, stuff, I guess I'll show that as soon as this burn is over with. I also really like how this engine actually glows, like after running for a while. It's pretty neat. And well, the reason I had the boosters is like radially attached to this engine is like there's no like node on the bottom of it that allows you to like connect another rocket like booster up to the bottom. So like you have to if you're, so like in my case when I was launching this thing I had to attach it to the side because there's no option to attach to the back of the bottom of it, at least from what I can tell. Yeah, I guess now that my burn is finished, I can, well, the reason I was waiting until after the burn is, actually when you're doing your, if you're in free IVA, while a spaceship is under acceleration, it actually, like, simulates that. Like you get pushed towards the back of the pod, which is pretty cool. And this is going into the gravity ring. Like, so basically all of this is under artificial gravity because it is spinning. Yeah, and there's a lot of like, there's a lot of places to sit down. And I think this is back where we came in. And now we're back in, well, the ship that doesn't have artificial gravity. Yeah, and this is really the only places to go because I don't have pretty much the only like traversable part of the ship is basically here and then that entire ring. Okay, we're out of Kerbin's sphere of influence. Now I just have to set Sarnus as the target. Kerbin, change our inclination. Well, to match Sarnus's orbit. And then we will do our actual transfer burn over to Sarnus. Yeah, I love like just the upgrades and visuals alone that Kerbal Space Program has gotten. Just make me want to keep playing this game. Like just even like that by itself. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have enough for this burn, but I have a feeling this is gonna take most of the fuel that we have to do it. I don't know, I guess I'll do that, and I guess we'll make adjustments later from there. Yeah, it's almost about perfect. Well, I want to see if maybe we can't get a like a slate encounter we could use as a gravity assist. Yeah, it looks like we can do that. I think we'll do that. And then I guess we'll just do a pass. Well, lower speed pass through Sarnus's atmosphere. Well, lower speed than like interplanetary entry speed. Well, the reason I'm always checking the resources thing every single time I time warp is the like the boil off that like if you're using liquid hydrogen fuels or cryogenic fuels, and like if you run out of electric charge, you lose insulation on the fuel tanks, and thus uh, what's called boil off happens, where you basically lose basically the fuel, like as it's described as, it boils off because it's like not insulated. But because time warp kind of gets buggy, like with like electric charge levels and stuff, I've sometimes like have ran into where when I time warp, I start losing my my fuel, which is not just not very desirable. I guess we'll just fine tune it once we get closer. And I actually have a little bit of interesting news. I actually saw in my recommended videos that Matt Lown apparently has done an Outer Planets video, which I think this is the first time I've seen them actually do like modded, actually go to modded planets, which actually is kind of interesting. Like I usually see them doing mostly vanilla content. Like it's like they mostly like to stick to vanilla content, but it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool to also see them do the Kcalbeloh and other planet packs, but I guess only time will tell what they decide to do. And I actually haven't watched the video yet, but probably will as soon as I'm done with making my video. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that resulting orbit, so I guess we'll take this. And there's Slate, coming in closer to us. Oh, and that's us entering Slate's sphere of influence. Oh, by the way, that's Slate's new textures, because I think since my last videos, I have I made the switch to parallax continued, and thus all my planets now look different. And with that, we're now in orbit of Sarnus. And now I'm about to do my whole like refueling maneuver, but I kind of want to do it more on the day side of the planet. Looks like we don't have enough fuel to actually do what I want, so I guess we'll just have to go with what we got. Okay, so for our refueling maneuver, we're just gonna do a shallow pass through Sarnus' atmosphere. Well, shallow enough that we don't actually, like, destroy parts of our ship or get captured into the planet. But at least deep enough that we get enough of the atmosphere to harvest using our intake that's on the front of our spaceship, so we can actually get the liquid hydrogen that we to refuel our fuel tanks. And it looks like we're going to be doing it on the dark side, which I didn't want to happen, but I guess we're just going to go with it. And as for right now, the liquid hydrogen is now going into the tanks. And as we get going deeper in the atmosphere, it's actually going to go a lot faster. And you can even see the delta V reading going up as our fuel tanks are being replenished. And it's actually going quite quickly now. We're about half full already. It's really going fast now, and we're just about full. And we're full. Which actually mean we didn't need to go quite this deep. But, we should, looks like we should pass through the atmosphere harmlessly, and as we come out the other end, I'm going to raise my periapsis, and then we'll go for the wormhole. Well, I do have to say, like, at least having the Firefly re-entry effects actually makes passing through the atmosphere on the night sides of planets still quite pretty.